Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Oh, I didn't see you there, sorry. Of course, you didn't see me because I am just watching you through my hidden cameras that I have inside your phone, inside your bedroom, inside your mind. I am the voice in the void. And I just watched The Deep Ones, the movie made in 2020. Okay, first of all, trigger warning, there is rape in the movie, and I will be mentioning some of that rape. So if you're not comfortable with that, please click on something else. Now, the movie is made by a production company called Crappy World Films, and I find that to be very topical, very cool because they are very self aware. Because it is a crappy movie. Maybe they mean that the whole world inside their films, maybe they're doing a Marvel thing. They're gonna do crossovers with different Cthulhu mythos things, and I think that would be awesome. It would be the Crappy World continuity. Somebody should totally do that. So yeah, Crappy World Films. Now, main critique out of the way, this movie needed better music. It's kind of a homage, I think, of campy 80s horror, because that's the feeling I got. Where all the actors looked like they could be in a porno. But it needed that porno music. It needed music that went better with the movie. You barely hear any. Now they do use row, row your boat throughout the movie, and they're trying to make it like creepy or something, but it doesn't really work. But now I have an earworm, and I'm listening to Row Your Boat in my mind for the past hour, and I can't get it out. Someone send help. It reminds me of the movie The Dunwich Horror, one of my favorite Lovecraft movies. And that movie had amazing music. Very campy, very silly, but it worked. This movie needed something like that. Now this movie is loosely based on Shadow over Innsmouth, the short story by H.P. Lovecraft. But I use the term loosely, very tightly loosely, because they took a lot of liberties. They said it in modern times. They do the whole technology bad, but then you find out that the villains are using a lot of technology to spy on people. Very hypocritical on behalf of the esoteric cult of Dagon. Now the film done in 2001, Dagon, I believe has a much better take on Shadow over Innsmouth. To me, The Deep Ones, this movie is more like a love letter to H.P. Lovecraft. Because it hits all the notes for a Lovecraft movie. You have your unnameable horror, unnameable monsters, you have your mysteries. So I found that to be very cool. Now, that's not to say this is a bad movie. I honestly think this is a fun movie. I wouldn't call it good, because good it is not. It's a B horror. If you like B horrors, you're probably gonna like this movie. And if you like Lovecraft movies, you're probably gonna like this movie. I believe this movie was made for people like us, that we love horror, B horrors, and we love Lovecraft. Now, here's an interesting note. The male lead is played by the dude that played Leon Kennedy in the Resident Evil Retribution live action film, and apparently he has barely made anything else after that. He is supposed to be Swedish, I believe, but his accent changes from American to Swedish from time to time. I like to think it was the actor deciding that to play to the character going crazy after getting throat fucked by a vagina tentacle. Yep, he eventually, through the movie, he gets raped by a vagina tentacle going down his throat. And that is how they chose him to be part of the cult of the Deep Ones. Seems to me like the esoteric cult of Dagon is getting more esoteric by the year. I don't know, it was such a weird scene. I was dumbfounded. I could not look away. Practical effects, it was a real, um, slimy tentacle in his mouth between a woman's legs. Now, that is not how I want to spend my Saturday Sundays, I'll tell you that. Um, Now, something I did love about the movie is that even though it's loosely based on Shadow over Innsmouth, like I said, it's more like a love letter because they take line from different Lovecraft stories, which I love. If you're savvy, you're gonna catch on to a lot of the nods they have. They actually have a nod to my favorite short story, Dagon. Not the film, the short story, where the character writes a letter that he's going crazy and a monster is going to him, and he screams at the end, the window, the window. But in the movie, they say the door, the door. But if you're savvy, you catch on to that, which I am. Something weird I found is that during the movie, they chant the classical Cthulhu chant, Iya, Iya, Cthulhu Futhag. But they don't do it in a shanty way. It's like they're late for something and they go like, Iya, Iya, Cthulhu Futhag. Like if Cthulhu Futhag was just one word when it's supposed to be Hail Cthulhu Sleeps or Hail Cthulhu Dreams. Translations vary from person to mind to mind. But they should have done something more with that. If you're gonna have cultists chanting Cthulhu, why not go all bombastic? Yeah, yeah, Cthulhu Futhag. Something like that. Now, right at the end, they set up a stereotypical Deep One rape scene. You know, the ones where you have cultists holding down a woman while a Deep One comes out of the waters and rapes the woman. Because that's how hybrids get made. You see, when a mommy and a daddy and a Deep One fall in love, daddy holds mommy down and the Deep One dry humps her. But here's my issue with that scene. Because when the Deep One does come out of the water, and I think, oh shit, this guy looks awesome. They had a practical suit. It looks like a Deep One. There's no CGI here. And I'm pretty sure this movie cost $2 and a bag of corn chips to be made. And probably the $2 were spent on that suit. But trust me, the suit looks amazing. Now here's my issue. The Deep One comes out and the cultist says, "Here comes Dagon." Or how they say it in the movie, Dagon. "Here comes Dagon." Which I don't like because Dagon sounds like dragon. I don't know, it sounds weird to me. But I'm used to saying Dagon, but he says, "Oh, here comes Dagon." And I'm like, shit, like, as a Deep One, he looks cool, but as Dagon, that's a wimpy ass Dagon. I don't know, man. Maybe Dagon is a title they have for the Deep Ones or something like that because that is not a Lovecraftian horror god. That is not an old one. The movie has a lot of interesting scenes. And I would spoil them for you, but honestly, you should really watch them because there's a lot of intricacies it has that I think they're very cool. One scene that I do remember that I will mention is that the woman that's pregnant that has the tentacle vagina, she starts like giving birth to the tentacle monster. And the tentacles are supposed to be coming from her vagina, but she's in front of a table and you can totally see the tentacles coming from under the table, not from her vagina. So that was weird. But they're practical effects, so I do appreciate that. Of course, then they do have CGI, and the CGI looks like it was made in the 90s. So yeah, that's my review on the Deep Ones. You should totally see it. Give it a chance. And I hope Crappy World Films makes more crappy films. I'm all for it. This was really enjoyable. Really, really enjoyable. But pump up the porn music. More weird music for these movies. Seriously. Oh, and yeah, before I forget, there is a scene after the credits. It was completely unnecessary, and it added nothing to the movie. But you should totally see it. I am the voice in the void, reminding you, I'm always watching.